Hey everybody, I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious Podcast, the show that lets you know that if you're feeling like a caterpillar these days, don't worry. Your flapping wings are coming soon.
I can't wait.
I know, right?
I cannot wait. Because I'm either a caterpillar or in that goo phase right now.
I know. It's a little gooey right now, isn't it?
Gooey.
It's wrapped in goo.
And why are we talking about caterpillars?
Well, today is the Monarch episode, the highly anticipated fourth version of the Monarch. And for any listeners who haven't hung out with monarchs before for us, do you want to tell them about what we're doing?
Yeah, we collect stories from our listeners, from our friends about signs, synchronicities, magic, spirit, anything that's really, really inspiring. And we play them.
Yeah.
And we hand them over to you. Because I feel like it validates the story to have lots of people hear it. And then people look, we start to look for our own stories.
Oh my gosh, exactly that. And I have some of the monarchs in the past, and we can put the links to the other three monarchs in our show notes. I still think about them all the time. Remember that golf ball story that woman requested, a golf ball, and then she found one out in industrial nation, nowhere near a golf course, stuff like that. It's just what? Yeah. What? It's really neat. So,
sure is.
Any other ado before we get to it? Without further ado,
yeah, let's just jump in.
What is
let's
ado?
Get to it. I don't know. Adieu. I don't know.
There's my French. Adieu. Okay, so let's set this first one up. It's our dear friend and colleague. I don't know. She's a dear friend from our community, Jenny.
Jenny, yeah. She's been in the Claire Club with us, and we have seen her just blossom into this crazy, amazing psychic medium. It's so cool. It's so good. And
everyone wants to be her partner. She's such a good reader. I'm always very careful.
Gives out the readings.
Who gets the Jenny? I'm like, ooh, who gets the Jenny this time? Okay, well, let's listen to her first story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad passed away in the spring of 2024. And when he passed, even though I had had some spiritual experiences with him since his passing, I still was having a hard time with the fear that I was never going to see him again on the other side. I'm not a practicing Christian. I didn't know if I believed in heaven. I didn't know if I believed in anything, so I was really afraid of never seeing him. I was at his funeral and we were placing his urn in his gravesite, and I just sort of blurted out, "Wait for me." I didn't know if he could reincarnate and I would never see him again. I didn't know if he would move to another realm and I would again never see him. So I begged him to wait for me. This was before I started learning more about spiritualism and mediumship and all of those things. The next day after the funeral, I was walking my dog and I just turned on my headphones and connected them to my phone. And this app popped up that I hadn't used in 2 or 3 years. And it started playing Mumford & Sons' "I Will Wait For You," a song that I hadn't played in a very, very long time without me touching anything. And I was about to skip to the next song when I got this sort of push to wait. And I stopped and I listened to the lyrics and I heard my dad's message. And I just bawled at the time. And since then, my dad has often sent me songs as messages, especially when I'm having a hard time. Yesterday, I was, again, feeling that feeling of I'm never going to see him again. I can't believe he's gone. And my playlist, which had been playing completely different music, suddenly switched to a song that he's also associated with in our family, which played through, and I thought, oh, maybe that's Dad. And then right afterwards, I Will Wait for You played right beside it. And it was just so, it made me feel so complete and so grateful. And I just wanted to share it because it was special, and I'm really grateful that reading books like Signs by Laura Lynn Jackson and listening to podcasts like this one have allowed me to stay open to receiving those kinds of gifts.
Oh, I love that so much. I think it's so cool when Spirit uses songs. And technology, because I feel like it's so easy for Spirit to do that.
Well, yeah, but that's still very fancy.
That's
I mean, to use like
fancy.
the exact phrase. I mean, she couldn't miss it. And then for it to come back again when she had the same sadness. I mean, it's so good.
But knowing Jenny, like, that has to be like, if her dad is anything like her, if she's anything like her dad, like, I can just see, like, I'm going to bring through the most amazing sign ever. It's so good.
You're saying the most amazing ways run in the family. Like, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. But I've heard that worry before about if someone passes and they know about reincarnation, they worry that their loved one's going to reincarnate before they get to the other side, which is a fair enough worry based on how timelines work Earth side.
Here,
but that's
not a problem.
No. So nobody needs to worry about that.
Yeah.
Because time isn't real.
It's not a thing. And
it's not a thing.
Oh, and I mean, there's so much to say about that, but I want to get on to our next story. Maybe we'll do a whole episode about timelines and what happens when we get to the other side. The good news is we have one more Jenny story later in the episode, so we don't have to say goodbye to Jenny just yet. Who's next, Sarah?
Scott.
Scotty.
Yes. Yeah. We had him on as a guest a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We love him.
We love Scotty.
He's a Claire Club member too. So, I actually haven't heard this. I can't wait to hear it.
Oh, goody. Here we go.
Scott Darlington. I have a story of a sign that came through in a reading that I did over the summer when I was just starting to get readings, sit for mediums and do readings. And so I think this is my second reading. I sat for Mary Grissy, who's been on Medium Curious podcast. And I think this was towards the end of my reading with her. And Mary said, he keeps saying to look out for the bunny. And I was like, the bunny, huh? And maybe we kind of kept talking, and then I was like, oh, wait. And I turned around, and on my bar, right behind where I sit, on most of my Zooms, there used to be this little stuffed bunny rabbit that David and I got in Vietnam when we went there for his 50th birthday. And so, but you couldn't see it. And so I pulled it out, and you can't see it on camera. And so I pulled it out, and I was like, this bunny? And she was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's it. And I was like, oh, okay. I wonder why he's telling me this. But in the back of my head, I was like, I don't think it's bunny like an object. I think it's the word. I just, for some reason, I just think that's the message, is the word. I'm like, okay, whatever. And must have been like a week later, it was our 10-year wedding anniversary. And so I planned to go on a walk in it's actually the walk that we would go on when he got cancer, when he was sick, and we called it his cancer walk. And so I was going to go do that walk. And so I'm driving, and I went this weird way. I must have gone to a store or something beforehand. So I went a way that made no sense normally from my house. And I'm at a stoplight, waiting to turn left. And I just look up, and there across the street is this store called King and Bunnies. It's like an electronic store. And King and Bunny is, I don't know, it's written maybe 5 or 6 times. There's a sign. There's, like a rotating sign. There's like, it's on both sides of the building. There's a sign in the driveway. There's like all of these signs, the word bunny, just all over the place. And yeah, it was on the day of our 10-year anniversary. So it just felt like such a strong sign from him that day. And of course, brought a lot of tears to my eyes. Thank God I was stopped at that stoplight.
Oh, so good.
So good. I mean, literally, it was a sign.
Yeah, it was literally a sign.
A sign.
Watch out for the bunny sign. That's fancy.
Isn't that
so fancy? I think I've called Scott's husband fancy before.
Oh, well, for sure.
He really likes
David
it.
is exceptionally fancy. But there again was the time thing, like time not being real. Like Mary said, look for the bunny. He's telling you look for the bunny, but in a future timeline, Scott was in a painful day and he got the bunny in signs, in spades. Yeah.
Oh, when you get a sign like that, it just changes everything for that day. It just really, it does the trick.
100. Okay. Well, I have the great pleasure of being the voice for one of our listeners. This was sent in as an email form. So listeners, if you don't want to be talking, this is an option for the next Monarch. Do you want to set this up any at all, Sarah, or shall I just jump in about this story?
Just jump in. Just read it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read it. So this is a listener named Nicole, and this is a little story about her dog, Ella. Okay. Ella was a part of our family for about 13 years before we had to say goodbye to her. She was my fiance's dog, and she actually came to live with me and my kids a couple years before my fiance did. We were friends at the time, and he needed a place for Ella, so I said she could temporarily live with me. This past spring, we could tell Ella didn't have a lot of time left. She had arthritis in her hips and had trouble going up and down the deck stairs. My fiance had told me that when we had to make the decision to let her go, that he would be the one to take her in. They had a very special bond, and I think he wanted to be there for her in the end. This past September 27th, we had to say goodbye. That Saturday morning, I woke up and I could tell something wasn't right with Ella. She had some accidents in the house, and I noticed she had blood in her urine. All week, she had been wandering off as well, which was not like her, and she wasn't listening much either, which again was out of character for Ella. We knew it was time and called the vet. I struggled with the decision because I felt like maybe the vet could do something and maybe it was just a bladder or kidney infection, but I also knew I didn't want my sweet Ella, who was about 14 years old, to suffer anymore. I put the harness on her and I took her outside. We walked around the backyard and I told her what a good dog she was and I thanked her.
Oh,
shoot. I kind of forgot this part might happen. What a good dog she was. And I thanked her for taking care of us all these years. And I apologized to her for being frustrated with her the day before, for not listening to me. And I watched her take her last car ride down the driveway. After they left, I started feeling guilty and second guessing the decision to let her go, and was in a bit of a freak out and feeling a little unhinged. I pulled out a deck of cards that I had bought about 6 years prior at a paranormal convention. After the convention, I put them in a drawer and didn't think about them until a couple years before Ella's passing. I was reading a book, and the book talked about the use of oracle cards, and I remembered I had them. The deck we have is called Talking to Heaven. I sat with the cards for a couple minutes and then shuffled and shuffled, all the while crying, feeling guilty, and thinking of Ella, wondering if I'd done the right thing for her. I pulled 3 cards. The first card said, "You have nothing to feel guilty about." Whoa. The second card said, I know, these cards always so amazing. The second card said, "Life is a series of choices. Choose love." The third card said, get this one. The third card said, "It was my time to go."
Oh, whoa.
Nicole goes on to say, I know, That's insane. Nicole goes on to say, I was shocked, amazed, blown away. I had maybe only used the cards a couple of times, and out of 40-ish cards, they were the ones I pulled in that order. How could it not be anything but a sign from my sweet Ella? I truly believe she was telling me it was the right decision and wanted me to know she was ready to go. After the cards, I did feel a little calmer and a little more peaceful.
Oh, Nicole, thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for reading that, Jane. That's a miracle you got through that.
I know. I'm going to be cutting out a lot of the boohooing, but oh my goodness. Oh, so beautiful, Nicole. Thank you. And for sharing. And that's just, come on, those 3 cards. What the heck?
With the exact message that she needed to hear.
Exact message.
Yeah.
Holy buckets. That is some fancy spirit. I mean, David, yes, David is fancy. Oh, and we are going to get to hear Scott again. So don't worry, everybody. But oh my goodness. Okay. Woo. Well, I have had the great pleasure of meeting a beautiful woman named Sarah Jane, who
that's also crazy.
Hi. Her name is Sarah Jane.
I love that.
I know, right? But she's been in touch because actually, just really quick story. So Chelsea did a reading for her after I did that solo about Domino's Crossing. Right. Mm-hmm. And in the reading, Chelsea said, I think Domino is with your dog. Did you hear about this whole thing? Do you remember?
Yes. Is this Sarah Jane?
That's Sarah Jane.
Oh, so fun.
So amazing. And so Chelsea, yes. So Chelsea brings through her sweet dog, and then apparently that sweet dog, whose name is escaping me, of course, right now, is partying with Domino on the other side. So anyway, Sarah and I
you two don't know each other at all.
We've never met. I just know that she has 2 great names that go great together.
Oh, I love how spirit works. Maybe we should just call this episode Spirit is Fancy.
And might have wings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, right? So anyway, then we got to chatting, and I did a reading for her too with her pup, and then I told her about the Monarch, and here she is with an amazing story.
Oh, are you ready? Hear it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Sarah and Jane. My name is Sarah Jane, and I'm going to share some stories about messages from my grandma. I've been blessed to have received signs from my dad ever since he passed away 12 years ago, but it wasn't until a few years later that I began receiving signs from my grandma when I moved my mom from her home in Colorado to a residential assisted living facility just 2 houses away from me in California. My mom had just been diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 92, and naturally, I was worried about her upcoming treatment. Driving to work one day, I was upset and crying and wondered if my grandma, my mom's mom, would be with us through this cancer journey. Although I had never received signs from her before, I asked my grandma for a sign so I would know she would be with us. Within just a few minutes, while driving down the freeway, I passed a Greyhound bus, something I hadn't seen in years, and I immediately thought of my grandma. When I was young, she used to take the Greyhound to come and visit, and my mom, sister, and I would meet her at the bus station. When I saw the bus, I knew my grandma was with me and was validating that she'd be watching over me and my mom. Fast forward to 8 years later, my mom successfully survived breast cancer and was just a few months away from turning 101 years old. Although she had been healthy, she was starting to slowly decline physically. Mentally, she was still sharp as a tack, but she didn't want to talk about death. My sister and I often shared how we received signs from our dad, our dogs and cats, and even received validations through various medium readings, hoping it would ease her fears. During one reading, I was told my grandma would be there to meet my mom when she died, and that I should share old pictures to help open up the pathway for my grandmother to connect with my mom, whether through dreams or memories. One night before bed, I asked my grandma for validation that our plan was working. I wondered out loud what signs she might send, and I heard Greyhound. I told her it would be pretty impressive to see another Greyhound bus, but I'd settle for a Greyhound dog or maybe even a drink. A couple days later, while visiting my mom, I was cleaning out a drawer and found a small notebook that she had used to write lists and other trivial things, something my grandma also did. There were old Christmas lists, names of favorite movies, notable dates. I took it home to look through later on, and when I opened it to a random page, the first thing I saw was my grandmother's name and the date that she died. I suddenly felt nudged to read each page, knowing I would receive important messages from my grandma. There were several poems my mom had copied that were heartwarming to read. One kind of famous one by Mary Fry that includes the line, "Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die." And another quote saying, "It isn't losing that hurts. It's hanging on." After flipping through most of the small notebook, I saw something at the bottom of a page that made me gasp. My mom was an avid reader, and she had copied a quote from a Dick Francis book that said, "A Greyhound bus rolled past with passengers staring like fish through its green glass windows." I couldn't believe it. There it was. My amazing grandma sent me another Greyhound bus 8 years after the first one. I was astounded at first, but immediately knew she was working alongside me to help my mom cross when the time came. A few weeks later, as my mom began declining quickly, I received a final and wonderful validation from my grandma while out on a walk one morning. I was stopped in my tracks by a beautiful rainbow, and at that very moment, the song "Is That All Right" by Lady Gaga started playing on a random playlist. It was a clear acknowledgement that my grandma would be there, and just like the song said, my mom would see her face as she fell with grace at the moment she died. This sign was validated later that very same day in a reading with the medium when my grandma came through with the message, "Stop worrying. I've got this. I'm taking it off your plate." My mom passed 1 month later, peacefully in her sleep. I was with her the night before and was able to hold her hand and tell her I loved her. I'll end with one more quote from my mom's sweet little notebook. I've researched but haven't found an author. "Faith is universal. We are all searching for truth that is greater than ourselves. Science tells me God must exist. My mind tells me I will never understand God. And my heart tells me I'm not meant to." Thanks again for this opportunity to share. Love you guys and love what you do.
Oh,
Sarah Jane.
we love you, Sarah Jane.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I had chills running through the
I
whole
know.
story. Oh,
Totally. And also her dog's name is Orvis. Y'all, it finally popped into my mind. And also, she told me that when she sent this over, she said she has gotten 3 more Greyhound buses since.
oh, that's so
recording
good.
that. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. That's not a real common sign.
No, I haven't seen one in like 20 years.
That's pretty specific.
Yeah, that's really clear. That's a good one. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, that's a very weepy one. Okay, so do you feel ready to read that beautiful story?
I do. We had another story sent in, and I'm going to read it for you. And I also had, this is from Kisa, and she wrote in about her son Cole, who's in spirit. And I actually got to meet him in spirit because I gave her a reading. And this kid, this son of hers, is just such a powerful, loving son who's so hilarious and full of life. In fact, I was shopping at Costco the day before this reading, and I was just going in my mind through all the stuff I had to do the next day. And I always am so pretty boundary protected when I'm in Costco, and he was able to get through. I was like, oh, you're something else if I can feel you in Costco. And sure enough, when I read for her the next day, he was just such a beauty, such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous kid, gorgeous boy.
Wow. Oh,
I know. So here is the story from Kisa. My son Cole died 6.5 years ago, very unexpectedly. We have 2 homes, one in Phoenix, Arizona, and one in Eastern Oregon, right on the Idaho border. My son died in late August in Phoenix. We decided to have his service in the small town in Eastern Oregon at the beginning of September. the day after his service, I woke up, went into the kitchen, made myself a coffee, and asked my son out loud, what am I supposed to do now? I have no more distractions. My oldest daughter came into the kitchen as I said that and said she was going to go get breakfast. I told her to take the car in the garage, and when she opened the garage door, a turtle came running out of the garage, an aquatic turtle, nowhere near water at our house nowhere near water at a house we hadn't been at for a month. I took it as my son saying, here, Mom, here's a distraction for the next 70 years. For months, we received turtle signs. My son was a deadhead, and I don't know the Grateful Dead had a whole thing with turtles. He had posters with turtles. My oldest daughter found a baby snapping turtle in the parking lot. My youngest opens an old box of Legos and found a random toy turtle on the top of all the Legos. We still get turtle signs, many more wild, unexpected signs that could be nothing but Cole letting us know he's here with us. I kept the first turtle he sent me, and she is well loved and reminds me of Cole's sense of humor and how close he still is.
Wow. Wait a minute. How do you get a turtle in a garage that hasn't been opened for months?
I know.
That's fancy, Cole.
That is fancy. So this reading that I gave her, I was like, do you have birds like tapping on your window? And she didn't really know. And then she emailed me shortly after that and said, as I was telling my husband about the reading, a bird flew into the window.
No.
That boy of yours, the animals.
Holy epic. That's the same like future casting thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I know.
My gosh.
Spirit's fancy.
Wow. I think
Especially
we are gonna rename it.
Cole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, what a cool kid. He's amazing. Yeah. The signs really are reassuring. And I especially love that he answered her right away. She's like, what am I supposed to do now? And he's like, I got you.
Yeah, I got you. 70 years. Here you go. Take care of this turtle.
Beautiful. Okay, as promised, we have Scott coming back, and we've got more birds and more animals coming for you.
Scott Darlington here. I have a beautiful story of a sign sent by my dead husband, David St. John. So David had always told me that he was going to pop in and say hi via hummingbirds. And recently, a friend of ours, Carla Kaufman Sloan, sent me a Instagram post of this beautiful, probably AI artwork hummingbird, but all these gorgeous colors. And I was just so stunned by the artwork. And then the caption that was with it was this beautiful, couple of paragraphs about being present in the moment. And I was just so touched by the whole thing. And sign enough in and of itself, coming from Carla, and who was, David's known her for over 30 years. And then one of the friends that David and I had talked about him coming back as a hummingbird to say hi was our friends that have now moved back to the UK, the Glyns. And so hummingbirds are just this sort of language that they and I talk about now. And so that's who popped in my head to send this to. So I actually went to this person's page and saw that Paul Glynn, my friend from Nordstrom, followed this artist. And I just thought, oh, Paul follows him because, he's got cool artwork, and didn't think any more of it. So I went to WhatsApp to forward this Instagram post to them. And actually, I was just going to send it to the wife of this couple, Amisha. And when I went into WhatsApp, the first thing that popped up was our group text, though. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll just send it to both of them. And so I sent it to both of them, and within like a minute, Paul had replied back and said, "This is so crazy. The artist who makes this art, whose page this is the younger brother of one of my best friends from growing up." And so it just was so crazy how layered this sign was.
What?
Oh, that's crazy. The connections that we have no idea about.
Yeah.
Like Spirit knows about all these connections. It's
Spirit's
wild.
like, listen, the internet's weird, but I'm going to use it. That's so cool. Scotty, thank you for both of those amazing stories. Good grief. I mean, good grief. Good grief. Well, I just want to share something, and I'm going to get Scott's approval before I actually air it. He and I were in session yesterday, and his grandma came through. And she's so incredible, and she was encouraging him. And she was saying this really beautiful thing about how she said to him that she loves how he's not grieving. That's how she said, not grieving, but living.
Mm.
Isn't that so beautiful? Doesn't that just like sum up Scott right there?
It
Not
really
grieving,
does.
living.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh my gosh, I love these people on the other side. Boo-hoo. Okay, you know who's next, Sarah?
Yes, I do. Because I got the list sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, I do.
We have Marissa, who we've come to love and adore since you met her at an art festival in Park City.
Yeah, which was like 5 minutes after I moved here.
Yeah. And thank goodness you met her, because she is, I know we overuse this word here, but she is pure magic.
I thought you were going to say fancy, but she is both things.
She's both things. She's brilliant, and she's such a talented artist. And we've had her on this podcast before.
Yeah, last fall we had her on the podcast, and then she joined the Claire Club, which kind of blew us all away. We were like, oh my gosh, she's in the Claire Club. And then it turns out she's so good.
She's so good.
She's so good.
I'm going to brag about you here for a second, Marissa. I hope it's okay. Because we were down, we weren't able to evenly partner all the practicers in the practice rooms. I paired with Marissa, and she was able to tune into a bracelet that I had found 2 weeks before, that my grandmother had given me 30 years before. And she described it perfectly.
Oh my gosh. But y'all, this is Marissa, the artist, who did not know that she was a psychic medium.
I know. And like that was, she connected with my grandma. My grandma like explained this bracelet to her and showed it to her.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So epic.
Given me. I know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Jane and Sarah. It's Marissa. I just wanted to share with you something kind of cool that happened last weekend. Let me tell a little bit of a backstory first. So one of my most popular pieces is called Trust Fall, and it is a piece that I created when I lived in Florida. The Hubs, Dr. Awesome, and I had moved down there for his job, and we lived there for about a year. And it wasn't in like the most sexy part of Florida, but we made do. And there I created a series called You Better Bring Your Own Son, which was kind of like a 9-step coping mechanism, if you will, for being uprooted and leaving the place that we previously lived, which was in Virginia, close to DC, to move down to Florida. And we didn't 100% enjoy it. We were kind of living in a bit of a retirement community, and I was working remotely in the house, wasn't working as a full-time artist, still doing that part-time on the side. And then he would go away to work every day and would come home, and I'd be itching to get out of the house, and he'd been out of the house all day and wanted to stay home. And it just, and he was not a beach person. He was more of a mountain person. So when we decided to leave Florida, that's when we moved to Colorado, just to be in a place that we just absolutely more desired to be in. But Trust Fall was a piece that I created there in the Bay of Destin, Florida. And it has turned out to, again, be the most popular piece of mine, and it just sold out of the series earlier this month in September. And I often show people when they come into my booth how that piece is created, because a lot of times people think, oh my goodness, did you drop her out of a helicopter, or was there a trampoline off to the side, or how did you capture this? So they always get kind of fascinated to learn that, well, no, this was caught in real time. I had a ladder in 3 feet of water, had brought in a friend just to hit the shutter, and I jumped off backwards off of a ladder into into the bay in 3 feet of water. And so there is one piece that's part of the blooper series, if you will, that I share with people when I'm talking about this particular piece, where it's instead of the moment right before impact, it is the moment of impact. And everybody will often tell me too, it's like, oh, that's a really cool shot too. So I've been kind of contemplating whether or not I was going to create that as kind of a follow-up piece to Trustfall. And so then fast forward to last weekend, and I am in Kansas City for the Plaza Art Fair and watching all of the parade of people walk by the booth and having some great conversations, of course. And I start noticing that one day I see a t-shirt that says Destin, Florida. And it's like, okay, don't give that much thought at all. The very next day, Saturday, I see a shirt that says Fort Walton Beach, Florida, which is the next town right over the bridge from Destin. And we lived in the very next town right in there called Mary Esther. So anyway, I messaged Dr. Awesome and just let him know, like, hey, this is interesting. I've seen these 2 random t-shirts in a town in Kansas City that are speaking to where we used to live in Florida. And he says, it's like, well, I wonder if you'll see Mary Esther next, which was actually the town that we lived in. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, well, Mary Esther wasn't like a beachfront town necessarily. I don't remember seeing any t-shirts while we lived there. But then I started thinking, I wonder, how do we see that? Probably in names. And so then it dawns on me that on my way to Kansas City, I got a message from Angela, who was the daughter of the lady that lived next door to us in Colorado. And her mother's name was Esther. And she was sending us just a little note to let us know that Esther had passed away. She was 92 and she'd lived a good life, but just to let us know that that had happened. And on that same day, I had actually received a text message from a friend of mine named Mary, just asking how things were going. And so that was on the front end of the trip. And I thought, well, that's also quite curious. And it's like, okay. And then Saturday night, I end up looking through Instagram, as one does when they're about ready to go to bed and are scrolling mindlessly before turning out the lights. And I see that there is somebody that started following me on Instagram by the name of Esther. And now, like, spidey senses are going off. Like, this is also very strange because Esther is definitely not a common name that you hear. It's definitely one that's from the older generation, if you will. And so I said, okay, universe, if I get a Mary tomorrow to complete the Mary Esther on this back end, then I will set about and make the second chapter, if you will, of Trustfall number 2, let's call it for now. That's not what I'm going to call it down the road, but for the sake of this story, Trustfall 2. So, I am keenly aware of anybody that comes into my booth on Sunday, and I've got a little email book for collecting emails for anybody that's interested in joining my newsletter. And I've got that set out, and periodically I'll just check that to see if by chance somebody has written down their name and if the name happens to be Mary, and no such luck up to a certain point. But then I have a woman that walks into my booth and I recognize her, and she stops and she's like, there you are. I have been looking for you. And do you remember me? And I did. She actually had come into my booth earlier in the year when I was showing also in Kansas City, but at another art fair called Brookside. And she had come in and she saw one of these pieces that I had created and said, "Oh my God, this is like a dream I had the other night. And I've never seen anything like this before. And this is just unbelievable." And she started crying, happy tears, of course. And so we start sharing all kinds of different things. And turns out she was part of a Theosophical Society. She believes in energy flow, very spiritually based. It was just kind of beautiful. And so she comes back in and she wants to see the piece again. And I'm chatting with her and it's like, of course I remember you. And then it hit me. It's like, her name is Maria. Mary in Spanish. And what an amazing gift that not only did the universe send me another Mary, but they sent me one that was also in this world of spirituality, energy, healing, and just esoteric thinking. And oh my goodness. And so we chatted for quite a bit. She ended up purchasing the piece, collecting the piece that she had had the dream about previously. And then I took it upon myself to tell her the story that I am sharing with you now about all of these events leading up to this piece, and that I was just clearly waiting for a Mary to walk into my booth. And she looks at me and she pats her chest and she's like, "Oh, I'm Mary. I'm Mary." And I'm like, "I know you absolutely are. And thank you so much for coming into my booth." It was just such a beautiful thing. And so now, after I am done with this next 2 round of shows that will end my season here, I am going to go home and create Trust Fall 2. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Oh, that's so incredible. That's so in the flow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also so heads up. Like she's like, okay, wait. And she starts to track it. And she goes, okay, that's that curiosity that gives you the right, I don't know, receivership of the signs. Like, and I just love the whole story. Like, oh, wait, what's that? Oh, wait, what's that? And then, okay,
it's paying
universe.
attention. Yeah.
Yeah. But also kind of negotiating with the universe. Like, look, I'll make the piece. Which is so cool.
I think the universe is really happy and excited to do that when it's collaborating on this creation.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Let's hope so, because I call on them all the time. I'm like, universe. Okay, well, good news. We have one more, and we get to hear the amazing Jenny again. And here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I wanted to share this story because I've been having really interesting and really meaningful experiences with energy since taking Sarah and Jane's intuition course in the fall. I learned about energy clearing in that course and about energy fields and about maintaining my own energy health, which has been a really important experience for me. So I was on my way home, I was driving, and I was doing a modified energy clearing because I was feeling really crummy that day. And I came to a red light. And as I was sitting there watching the light and waiting for it to turn, I felt all of a sudden this burst of golden energy immediately to my right. It was like a circle almost. And I quickly looked over to the right, and there were these 2 teenage girls who had started walking at the walk signal, and a car had turned left. It was pretty dark because we just had daylight savings, and it must have missed them. So the car had turned left, and it stopped just a foot in front of these 2 girls, and I was so glad everybody was safe. And it was such a cool experience because it reaffirmed for me the belief in guardian angels. I wouldn't have thought that it was for sure somebody protecting them if I hadn't felt that burst of golden energy. And I just think that life has become so much more interesting being open to spirit.
What?
Ooh, I just got big chills on that one.
Such big chills. Wow. And cool that she could witness that and their safety and the angel intervention.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just thinking about like my whole crew and how they meet angels around them all the
Well,
time.
do you know what's so funny? Why don't you just invite them in right now? Because halfway through this recording, I remembered that it's Friday the 13th. And Graham is on the slopes, and the slopes are very thin now because it's like 60 here. And so it's all
angels are
melting.
calling you all in.
I just did about 15 minutes ago. I was like, angels, quick, get next to that boy. So God willing, all will be well. And I had also done the same thing for myself when I went skiing with this older, less flexible body. And it worked out. They had me. I just shared a Substack about that. So she brought up the class that we taught last fall, but what do we do about the class now, Miss Sarah?
Well, we have another session of Claire Club starting up really soon, March 23rd. So go to mediumcurious.com if you're interested in joining. And if you're unsure, if you don't think that you're up and ready for it, we have an online class that you can take that explains how to do all of this. Everything from clearing your own energy, feeling your own energy, tuning into energy, asking for help from spirit guides. And what else did we cover in that class, Jane? How to give a reading.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same class basically that Jenny took last fall that we broke down into 8 little yummy modules of fun. And we included the guided meditations that you shared throughout and other such goodies that I have since created as well. So it's all there on our website, and it's also packaged with the Claire Club. If you want, you can buy the course and then you get a free pass to a Claire Club sesh. So winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. And I just have to share that everyone that we've met who's been on this journey with us, whether it was taking the empowered intuition or the intuition unlock classes, and then Claire Club has just blown us away with.
Yeah, totally. They're incredible readings. I mean, like Jenny just said it, it's like once you're tuning into this material, then the material is all here for you. Yeah. So like, it's really special to just kind of play a small role in that but to witness, like you're saying, to witness their profound coming online. And it's so good, y'all.
It's my favorite
thing. So special. Oh my goodness. So any other announcements? Because look at the time. It's perfect.
We did it.
We were worried there wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Another like.
Yeah.
Didn't that sound like a butterfly?
I don't know what butterflies sound like, but sure. Sure it did.
Sure, let's go with yes.
Yeah. And listeners, if you have stories that you want to share with us, just please reach out to us on mediumcurious.com. Let us know. And because we want to share your stories with everyone. You can either write it in or you can record it and give it to us, however you want to do it.
And thank you to all of these sweet folks, Scott and Jenny for 2 of them, Sarah Jane with her amazing story about her grandma, and the Ellie story, and Kisa's
Ella
boy.
And Kisa.
Oh, yeah. Ella. What did I say, Ellie?
Well, Nicole's story about Ella.
Right, Nicole's story about Ella. And it was just a really nice lineup. So thank you, dear ones. And of course, Marissa's beautiful story about her artwork being negotiated from the other side.
Yeah, her artwork's incredible.
It's incredible. So we'll, of course, share all that in the show notes.
Yay.
Thanks for being with us on the journey, y'all. We love you so much.
Love you. So,
guess we're done.
Yes.
Okay, stop. Just let me get the goodbye. Okay.
Bye.
Can you just say thanks? Bye. We love you. Bye.
Very Soul is our sponsor for Medium Curious. Jane and I are both Very Soul mediums.
Oh, yes, we are. Verysoul.com, y'all. Inspired by spirit, guided by love, and brought to life by mediums.